So yeah, it's possible.
I'm now envisioning like little snake, I don't know, mini dreamscape with snakes. Unholy Regret Name asks, after Shadow Slave will be over and a new novel will take its place, will there be a chance it'll be R-rated, or at least not as lighthearted?
Well, it might be R-rated. I'm not sure that it won't be lighthearted because writing depressing books is really depressing. So why would I torment myself that way? So we'll see. I don't really know what I'll write next.
We're all looking forward to it, I'm sure. Soulshine asks, what is your favorite ice cream flavor?
Hmm. It's for sure pistachio. Pistachio ice cream is the best ice cream. That's just scientific fact.
Really? Okay, I didn't know that one. That's fun. Like you like it's green though. I have a hard time with green ice cream, but okay, that's fun. I'm tripping over ice cream. Next one is from Sunfi. How far ahead did you plan when you started writing Shadow Slave? For example, did you already decide that Sunny would be fateless and travel to the Citadels? Have you changed any ideas on the general direction of the plot since the novel started?
Well, I basically didn't know anything when I started writing. I knew the rules of the world, I knew approximate main characters, and what I wanted the novel to be. But mostly it was all improvisation. Like, I came up with the idea of a Forgotten Shore one day before publishing the chapter on the Forgotten Shore.
So
Yeah,
crazy.
so the story changes a lot, and it should be changing a lot because web novels are really gigantic, and the size of the most the lengthiest fantasy series out there. So it's just impossible to plan everything in advance. And actually, it's a sign of a good writer if they can adapt to the changes of the story and go with the flow.
That's a very good point. Maybe Sunny, with all of his mind power, could have done everything all at once, but yeah, it's a lot. Say My Name asked a similar question. How long ago did you plan the ending of the series, or is it still being worked?
Well, I do have an ending in mind, and I have that ending in mind almost from the very start, but it's I haven't come up with the detailed explanation of what would happen yet. So my idea hasn't changed, but it can change when we arrive to the last volumes.
I'm very excited for that. Icicle wants to know, how do you manage to write 2 chapters a day? What's your writing process? About how long does it take?
I don't think I have a writing process. I just sit down and write. There's not much process to it. It takes me about 5 hours to write 2 chapters, and on usually I also do like 2 hours of doing comments, reviews, and so on.
You're very good about checking all the other things too. Professor Nan once says, "Are you going on hiatus? Just so we're prepared."
I'm thinking about taking maybe a month off, probably after volume 11, but I'm not sure yet.
Yeah, that makes sense. We would all would love you to get some rest when you need it, and get all of the good things together so you can finish out strong. Tony's assistant Nether asks, any particular, hold on, any particular you have planned for for after Shadow Slave? Oh, is there anything particular you have planned for after Shadow Slave, specifically a book and hopefully a big break?
No plans, concrete plans on what I'm going to write next yet. I'm definitely taking a long break, maybe a year or even a couple years, because I've been working basically with no days off for almost 4 years now, and I have about a year more to go. So yeah, I'm just going to sleep for a year. I'm going to go into a deep slumber after I finish Shadow Slave.
Hibernation. I love it. That's, I think, everyone's dream sometimes is to go into hibernation. Okay, Renchino wants to know, what would Sunny be doing had he not been chosen by the Nightmare Spell?
Well, that's an interesting question. I think he would probably join either the police force or the government army just in order to get out from the outskirts. So if he survived Antarctica, he would probably go to either Ravenheart or Bastion and open some kind of shop there.
Interesting. So yeah, full circle there. So Vile Thieving Slipper wants to know, are there any fun facts about June that you would like to share?
Well, June is one of my favorite characters because he's the character who makes me laugh the most. I don't know if you guys noticed, but actually June has just one character trait. His whole character is just to be cool, because his aspect is basically to be an action hero and walk away from explosions in slow motion. So I had a lot of fun designing an aspect, based around the idea of an action hero. So every time he appears on screen, I just can't help laughing because he's so serious. But like the concept of the character is so silly.
So we'll see hopefully more June. I enjoy reading about him too. So Zwick, the Polish, asks, will Shadowslave be finished within the next year or a year and a half?
Hopefully, yeah. I'm planning to end Shadow Slave next winter. So the end of 2026 or the beginning of 2027.
Okay, so on that note, how many chapters are left? Naderite wants to know.
I'm still aiming for 3,500 chapters.
Okay.
I might go like 100 or a couple hundred over, or a bit short, but that's the goal.
Okay. Yeah, I think you may be a little bit over, but hopefully not too bad. So Audentis wants to know, are you thinking of writing another novel after Shadowslave, or is this your final work?
Oh, I'll definitely write something else, just not immediately after I finish Shadow Slave. And also, whatever I write will probably be very different from Shadow Slave, so I'm not sure how much the fans of Shadow Slave will like my next book.
Fair enough. Yeah, you'll take your hibernation and come back. So rule 2, I don't remember I think that may be Spade Hayes, wants to know, how would Rain's Flaw work in the dreamscape?
Rain can kill whomever she wants in the dreamscape, because it's not real death. So she can slaughter to her heart's content there.
Okay, see, so dreams do come true. Egg wants to know if you watch anime, and if so, what's your favorite one?
I do watch anime sometimes. I mostly like wholesome comedic anime, so my favorite is My Life is a Villainess. All roads lead to doom. I said it many times and it hasn't changed.
And what's the premise of that one? I mean, it's kind of in the title.
It's about a Japanese girl reincarnating as a villainess of a European romance novel and trying to survive, and also fight off all the male leads.
Fight off the male leads, you know? Who wouldn't love that? John Pickles asks, so the nightmare creatures, Sunny Slade, that became shades, can they use their abilities? Also, do they retain their physical traits like their armor and such?
Mostly, yes. Tama changed to a certain degree by the process of being cleansed of corruption, but mainly most of their powers remain the same, as well as the appearance. Some do change, so it depends on the nightmare creature.
Okay. Rami wants to ask, is the ability to travel to the dream realm only a thing for the awakened of the spell? Could the awakened before the spell travel to different realms?
Yeah, they definitely could travel to different realms. It was a bit different from how it happens in the modern time in Shadowslave universe, because there was no dream realm back then. But yeah, while it's not explained, it probably was similar to how it is now. So mundane people couldn't travel, while saints could travel freely between various realms.
Very interesting. And then Joker asked, did you ever change a plot or an entire arc just because some random person figured it out or guessed it?
Nope, never. Because I don't think that being like a big surprise or a big twist is a valuable quality of the story. As long as it makes sense, I don't care if people guessed or not. Actually, it's probably better if people do guess what is going to happen, because it means that I set the hints about the future plot progression well.
I agree. Cody wants to know, what was your favorite arc to write?
It was definitely volume 8, Lord of Shadows, just because it was like lighthearted fun with a lot of fun interactions, and at the same time it had some very heartfelt moments, some very cool action scenes. So it had a little bit of everything, but mostly it was fun to write, because people don't realize that when you're writing like tense or sad scenes, you yourself feel tense and sad. And when you're writing comedic or lighthearted scenes, you yourself feel like well about the world. So writing funny stuff is definitely more pleasant.
Yeah, that is something that people who don't write don't realize. Your mood effects is affected by your writing. Meow wants to know, why are there no cats in the story? Can you somehow introduce a cat character?
There will never be a cat character, Shadow Slave. Never. And it's not because I don't like cats, it's just that before becoming a web novel author, I was a voracious web novel reader. And from a career of reading web novels, I noticed that almost immediately after a cat is introduced into a novel, most novels immediately go south. I don't know why, but it's a rule. There are some exceptions, but it's basically a rule at this point, in my perspective at least.
So the cat is the jinx at that point. Jacapalot, I think is how you say that. Do you have plans for a sequel series like Shadow Slave Shippuden? And I don't understand this question.
I also don't know what Shippuden is.
I
I'm
don't know.
thinking, I think it has something to do with Naruto.
Okay.
Not sure. Well, no, I'm not going to write a sequel to Shadow Slave, because there's so many universes and worlds that can be created and explored. So staying in the same one would be sad. Actually, I'm already sad, because initially I thought that I'll be done with Shadow Slave in a couple of years and go to write something else. But here we are 4 years later, still here.
Just like Sunny, still here. Uh, Very Safe Satyr wants to know, would you, as the author, kindly confirm or deny that Nightmare is in fact male, as Sunny refers to him? Or can I still keep my headcanon of Nightmare being female for the purposes of it being a nightmare and the pun? And Sunny just never bothered to check.
Well, first of all, everyone is free to keep their head canon. Like, if you disagree with something in the novel, feel free to imagine that it never happened. That's your privilege as a reader. It's your holy right. But as for me, Nightmare is a male. Yeah, he's a guy. I know that Mare is female in English, I think, but in Russian, Nightmare, Kashmar is a male word. Plus, when Nightmare appeared, I was really concerned about the fact that Sunny is basically surrounded by only women. Like there's Sky, but after introducing Saint, I couldn't just give him another girl shadow. So I needed some masculine energy, and therefore Nightmare is a guy.
Masculine energy. That's funny. So Eliaden wants to know, I was wondering about Gunlog's echo. If an echo is the nightmare creature itself after slaying it, then what kind of leviathan did Gunlog slay that it turned into golden armor instead?
Well, it's not golden armor.
Mm-hmm.
It's if you remember, it's like a liquid that forms an armor. So the creature he slayed was actually not the Leviathan that he tried to kill. It was the parasite living inside and controlling the body of the Leviathan. That's why the summoned echo was in the form of a liquid.
Interesting. I didn't know that. Okay, so that makes some sense. It can change because it's a parasite. Crosslyn wants to know, which were your favorite characters to design out of the many groups of Shadow Slave, excluding the cohort? So he listed the 9, the gods, the daemons, the ghouls. I'm actually not sure what the ghouls are.
I think the ghouls are the sovereigns.
Okay. Okay, so what was your favorite group?
Well, the diamonds are certainly cool, but I think the gods are most interesting to write because of how ineffable and like alien they are. They're much more mythical than even the diamonds, who are already mythical creatures.
Fair
So
enough.
yeah, out of the listed groups, the gods were the most interesting to design. Well,
That
the
makes
9
sense.
are also very cool, but I secretly hate the 9 because I need to come up with 9 names.
You made too many of them. I'm just going to say
Yeah,
it.
yeah, I
You
did
needed
not.
like the 3.
I failed to consider the implications of calling them the 9 when I came up with that title.
Arrow of the 9 sounds pretty cool, but like Arrow of the 3 would have been much easier. I don't know how to say that. Towixor wants to know, how do you go about creating a new character in terms of description? Do you need to visualize or even draw them before writing, or does everything come together solely in your imagination?
My imagination is not visual at all. I don't imagine characters visually. They are all just blobs with a couple of traits like hair color and body composition, something like that. So no, I don't visualize characters and I don't draw them. I start with like the emotional core, the personality, the character, and I go from there.
Okay, so Mirror That Dreams Onyx wants to know, since Sunny is fateless and therefore cannot tell people information that they've already learned um, because they'll forget, what if someone else said it on his behalf? Would they still be unable to remember?
Yep, they would still be unable to remember.
That's what I figured. Okay. Miss Kana wants to know, will you be doing any merch? Praying hands, sad emoji.
That's up to that novel. I don't handle this stuff. I just write.
Yeah.
Hopefully, they invited me to another meeting in Shanghai, and this time they gifting offers some T-shirts with themed after most popular web novels on Web Novel, and the Shadow Slave T-shirt is just a blue shirt with letters reading #StorySlave. But I'm not sure how well such merch will be received. So hopefully we'll get something better.
Yeah. Something more neutral would be preferable. So hopefully we'll keep after him about that for merchandise. Sword wants to know if you still hold on. If you're still bent on the idea of no more than 3 divine aspect holders, then does that mean that even before these 3 got it, that no one had a divine aspect, like even among the 9?
Well, there could have been several or even many wielders of divine aspects throughout the history of this universe. It's just that currently there are only 3.
Fair enough. And then I don't know this person's name. They have a symbol. Wants to know, do you enjoy eating bagels?
I have not eaten a bagel once in my life. I have no idea what bagels taste like. It's
I
it's
just,
a it's a regional thing. We don't have those here.
I didn't, I don't know how to respond to that. I wondered why you left that question. Now I know. Really, but you have bread that's like, with a hole in it. I mean, huh?
We do, yeah, but
But it's not
uh,
bagels.
well, I don't know because I never had a bagel.
Um, yeah, that's funny. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, it's dough with a hole in it that you put cream cheese on. So, um, bucket list for the next time you travel, you can find a bagel. Rule 0, and I don't know who that is. Did Just ever resent Warden? Maybe for causing the death of his wife or for something else.
Well, human relationships are complicated, especially when 2 people spend like decades together. I'm sure there were some resentment, but basically he was always like loyal and affectionate toward Warden.
That makes sense. Donut, is there anything you would go back and rewrite to change the story if you could?
Not really. I usually say that I see all the imperfections of the story as part of the journey. I guess one thing I would have changed if I traveled to the past would be I'd probably make Mordred and Morgan 2 pieces of the same person. Uh, but I'm content with how they turned out as well.
There you go. I like that. Shams wants to know, which character interactions do you enjoy writing the most? I have a guess.
Or anyone with a sense of humor. So basically Effie. Yeah, Effie and Sunny. Or Effie and anyone else. Basically,
Yeah, that makes sense.
Effie rules.
Yeah, and I would thought you were gonna say Kai and Sunny's interactions because they always end up so funny. But Effie makes sense too. Bubble wants to know, do you have most of the story laid out, or are you winging it every week? And you kind of answer that. Um,
Yeah, it's a combination of both. The way I put it is that I usually know what I want to happen, but I decide how it happens as I go.
Fair enough. Um, Luca Kieser wants to know, was there ever a moment where you rebelled against your outline, where the characters would force you to change your original plan?
Yeah, as I mentioned, a good offer can't be too rigid. You can
Mhm.
make an outline, but if in the process of writing you feel that the story wants to turn some other direction, you should follow what the story wants to do.
Fair enough. Lepus wants to ask, what was the spark that made you start writing Shadow Slave?
Well, I was reading a lot of web novels, having great fun, and at the same time I was a little fed up with my career. So I decided why not try writing a web novel of my own, one that combines all the best parts of the novels I like and excludes all the parts that I don't like. So I did just that.
Okay. Pickle Cordul wants to know, why did you decide to write your novel on web novel and not another app?
Well, basically, I was reading on web novel, so it was like already familiar territory. Before starting like publishing there, I did research other options, but basically two qualities attracted me to web novel apart from being familiar with it. First one was that web novels very cosmopolitan, like the readers and authors from all over the world, as opposed to something like Royal Road, for example, which is more like exclusively West leaning. And the second quality of web novel that I like was that I did not need to create like a Patreon page or something like that to be a writer there. I like the monetization system of web novel more.
And so here we go. Kermit wants to know, which video game would Sunny be addicted to?
Probably some kind of tycoon simulator, definitely.
Yeah. The old Sim Cities where you have to build your community, and yep, I could see that. I know there's one's more recent. I'm dating myself. Ahmed wants to know, since there are 7 divine realms, does that mean there are also 7 mortal realms?
No, there are a bunch of mortal realms. Well, there were a bunch of mortal realms, more
Yeah.
than 7.
DJ of Nothing wants to know, does Sunny's beef with Honey come from you, or is it just a silly bit for the story?
No, I actually quite like Honey. It's just a bit of silliness coming from Sunny and his character.
I'm not bitter about that at all. Luke wants to know, what happened to the rest of Effie's family?
Nothing happened. They're still alive and well. She supports them financially, but she's not very close to her family.
I see. So, engineer, I think, is what that's supposed to be. Do you ever reread your work or watch edits of your work? Do you like it, feeling that people love your work?
Well, it's certainly very rewarding to know that people like my work. I do watch edits sometimes. I never read my own story. I tried, but to me it's too like cringy and embarrassing. I lasted only like 5 chapters before I had to quit.
I understand that very deeply for my own writing. Noble Light of Dawn wants to know, what's your favorite sport and are you good at it?
I'm not a sporty person at all. I tried to do it sports like for decades. I played tennis for a while, but I don't like the competitive nature of most of these kinds of sports. So basically, I'm a couch potato now. Happily so.
Fair enough. Don Lee wants to know, if Nephis adopted a pet, would it be worshipped by a portion of humanity? If so, what pet would she adopt?
Definitely a puppy. A white fluffy puppy.
Oh,
Chow
wow.
chow.
Okay, I like it. The Chow Chow of humanity. I feel like that's a fan fiction in the making right there. Suri Ruri wants to know, which was the nightmare creature you had most fun writing? Any specific part of it or all of it combined?
There are a lot of cool nightmare creatures. I think the one I'm most proud of is the terror of LO49. This one I was very happy with how it turned out, both in terms of its powers and of its like visual design. So yeah, that one.
That's really good. So, devout follower of the Firekeepers wants to know who your favorite character is to write, and you said that a minute ago.
Yeah,
It's a
it's a
it's Effie. It's always Effie. Jean Mullen, I don't even know. Molyneux, I think is how you say that. How much does what you write sound like you?
I think not at all. I'm not at all like any of the characters in the novel.
Yeah, that's fair. You are not. I am lazy wants to know, did Slayer gain a shadow of the aspect of Orphine of the Nine as a result of her supremacy or of hearing the name of the woman whose shadow she had been?
It's because she learned her name.
Names have power, even for us. I think it's Joshua backwards. Wants to know, are you 100% sure on ending Shadow Slave in only 3,500 chapters?
Well, I hope so. As I said, I might go a little over, but 3,500 is the goal.
Okay. Have you decided? This is a Disc Tribadale wants to know, have you decided on how you'll name Volume 10?
Nope. And I'm dreading the day that I have to.
You just give it a really long title, like The Adventures of Sunny Through All of the Places He Was Supposed to Go. Um, that's my suggestion. Umberlos says, what were your main difficulties when you started writing? How do you write character dialogues, and does it come naturally?
Main difficulty was definitely just writing, doing it every day. It was very difficult. No, it's like it was very, very difficult. Now it's just very difficult. Yeah, so just maintaining the schedule was the hardest part. As for writing dialogue, comes naturally for me. I think it's just the result of being exposed to a lot of dialogue through like books, TV shows, even YouTube videos, and so on. So I don't live in a country that speaks English, but I consume a lot of media in English. That's why I have like an ear to dialogue. I hope so. I hope I have.
Yeah, it does sound very natural most of the time. Okay, this one cracks me up because it's from Sunless, so I feel like Sunny has come from the book. Will you personally oversee the manhwa and physical book production?
Nope, no. Those things have very little to do with me,
Hmm.
and I prefer it that way because producing a webtoon or a physical adaptation or any kind of adaptation is like a full-time job, and I already have a full-time job, so I'm content just writing. And even if I had time to do another full-time job, I'd rather just write another novel.
Yeah, that makes sense. Evelyn wants to piggyback on the question about before Sunless about how to make dialogues feel natural.
Well, as I mentioned, you just need to like submerge yourself in the language, just consume a lot of uh, media, best of all, narrative media, like watch good TV shows, read, and so on. After a while, you'll develop like an ear to dialogue.
There you go. I like that. Devout follower wants to know, is one born with their aspect already inside their soul, just sealed, or do you get a compatible aspect when you awaken? Mm.
One is born with all aspects sealed in their soul, because all humans have the spark of the original flame of desire in them, and that spark contains everything. So the way you live your life and the way you approach awakening determines which of the countless number of aspects is unsealed and becomes yours. But originally, all aspects are contained in all people.
It's fascinating. All right. Doggo the Silly. Is there any way you decide if a memory gets summoned uniquely, like how the cruel sight was described as appearing from mist, or how Anvil Sword appears from red sparks, as opposed to just the usual sparks that most memories get?
Well, I might have dropped the ball on the cosmetic aspect of memory appearances. Basically, in the beginning, when I just wanted to show that this memory is especially unique, I would give it a special style of appearance. The scarlet sparks, in particular, are a trait of memories forged by Clan Valor. Yeah, but I feel like I abandoned that system halfway through. So to answer, it's just rule of cool. Whatever is cooler is the truth.
Rule of cool, I like that. Kravitz wants to know, what's your favorite dish?
Potatoes.
All the potatoes. Gael asked, would you be open for an anime adaptation of your work at some point, like what happened with Lord of the Mysteries? And then it says, or you'd be more keen on different adaptations.
Well, I certainly wouldn't say no to an adaptation if it happens. I'm not going to work on it myself. And actually, people often see like an adaptation as a reward and the next step of a novel, like something that gives it legitimacy and something that an author should be striving for. But for me, the novel is already the optimal and ultimate form of that story. So adaptations are just like nice bonuses that can bring more eyes to the novel itself. So I don't see them as an aspirational goal.
It does take a lot of the stress off, I will say. All right, down to our last couple of questions, and then we had Sunless. Now we have from Sunny, which I feel like he's asking for a cheat code to the book here. He says, in Shadow Slave, are the void beings on par with the gods?
There are different void beings. Some are on par with the gods, some are lesser than the gods, some might be even greater than the gods, and hopefully we will never learn.
Coming from you, that's yeah. Maybe we should. It's better not to know. And then finally, Evil Seal went the other direction. Wants to know if there will be a continuation of Free Fall.
I don't think so, no. When I spoke about depressing books making you feel depressed, I was speaking about Freefall because that book was super depressing to write and finish. Shadow Slave is a light-hearted novel directly because after finishing Freefall, I said to myself, I don't want to go through that ever again. Let's write something fun instead.
That's actually, I think, one of the first things you said to me was not to read Free Fall because it was depressing. That stuck with me. So I'm glad that you have written lighthearted because it has been very enjoyable to read. Thanks so much for joining us. Do you have anything else you want to let people know?
Not really. I just want to wish everyone a happy server event, happy Halloween, and I want to say thank you to the mod team, to the moderators and admin for making it all possible. So yeah.
Okay, well, thanks for joining us. I will let you go back to writing, and I'll wrap up things here. Thank you guys, all of you, for joining us. Before we shift gears, I want to remind you about all of our ongoing competitions. Please don't forget to vote for your favorite fan art in the fan art channel. Let me make sure that's open. I was so worried about this, I may not have opened that yet. Oh, it is open. Awesome. So the art contest is open for voting. The theme for that was Halloween. I also need to open our poetry contest because that one is also, we have the poems on the 9. If you want to read about that, that's right below our announcement channel. Please vote for those. There is a prize of nitro for the one who comes out on top. We also have our cooking competition. That one, people made stuff after Nightmare Creatures, for that whole Halloween theme. So get a look at some yummy or not so yummy food, I suppose, depending on how you look at it. Vote for that. And finally, we do have our fan fiction competition that has just been completed. You can't vote for that. We had official judges, but when you're itching for some more Shadow Slave content, please check out those entries in our fan fiction area. We have the theme was Halloween there also. Things that go bump in the night, I think was the actual official title. All right. Is Teddy around to come pull her up here? She can pull herself up if not. Let's see.
Hello, hello.
Hello. I'm about to turn things over to you. I just want to make sure you were here before I said that.
Yes, Crosta just pinged me and I sprinted back upstairs.
You're amazing. So we're going to be splitting up. If you're still here, you can stay in the stage for karaoke, or I'm going to go ahead and open up that game channel. This is a friendly reminder that no matter where you are, the rules still apply. Even in the voice chat, we're still family friendly. Please be aware for karaoke that your song lyrics need to be family friendly, and you need to have them so they can be viewed by a moderator ahead of time. As for the game room, be mindful of your language. Any inappropriate drawings or comments in the chat or the games is going to earn you a day's mute and a possible ban if it's bad enough. So don't just go in there thinking you can do whatever you want. We're there to have a good time.
Guy again.
Right? We're there to have a good time too. So please self-censor yourself. We really appreciate it. Okay, I'm going to open up the game room.
I've seen it.
Please don't. You already muted someone for a day? I wasn't paying attention to the chat, guys. All right.
Oh, nice.
That's fun. I'm going to ask my sister about that later. Let me go ahead. Who can hop over to the event channel for me? Anybody here? Any? I sound like I was going to say any adult because